Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. Oh my goodness, wonder of wonders. The sun just came out. After a shower this morning, of course. Anyway, I hope that you are as mesmerized by this process as I am, because this is now the third consecutive video that I am doing. Now, I haven't done anything on this without you. However, I have cleaned up a bit, put away the stuff I don't need anymore, found some more colors. So just to give you an idea, this has our old shop price sticker on the top. This is called Georgia Clay. We closed our shop in 2001. Yeah, I think that's right. Still liquid. This one is bright red. That may be a bit bright. This is maroon. This is burgundy rose. And again, this is same, our price tags on it. And this is called Glorious Gold. So I'm thinking it's a bit more metallic-y looking than this, what I would call an old gold, or they're calling spun gold. And this this one is called medium yellow, as opposed to this one, which is bright yellow. So I don't know if there's any appreciable difference between them. And I also rounded up more off my bristle brushes. I'd shown you this one. It's still damp. And you can see, oh, that's the stencil brush. So you can see that I have these in a variety of sizes. This is a Winsor Newton, and that's hog bristle, short, flat. You would almost think that it's ready for the garbage because it's so, but it would have been this short to begin with, and it is very stiff, so that's going to make a different mark than something like this. This is a bristle brush size 3, and this is a flat brush size 3. Did I show you? Yeah, no, I didn't show you this one. This is also a Winsor Newton, short, flat, size 4. And this is why we need 1,000 brushes. Okay, I also brought my roll of toilet paper, because that's a good way to blot once you've washed a brush. I have another package of wipes here. I have a new doohickey to mix colors on, since we're doing a different sort of color family. Now, so you can, well, if you've watched the other video, you know that I was using kind of this palette of colors. Why is that one like that? An airlock. So, and, oh yeah, the green is there. So that's why we have what we have. But we know that some leaves turn almost bright red in color. And certainly that shade between red and brown, I mean between burgundy and brown, where it's hard to say which is which. So what I want to do is introduce some of those reds, sort of, and continue with some of the detail work. Now, you saw how quickly, excuse me, I was able to get in with my little Staedtler pen, because the paint dries, you know, almost before your very eyes. Oh, the other thing I was looking for but couldn't find in the last video were these. Now, these are short. It just happened to be that way. These I salvaged from that video I did on those architectural renderings. If you haven't seen that video, I think it's worth looking up. And if you typed in architectural renderings, you would see. I don't know if I've cut myself another set of L's. But this was what I was talking about using as a viewfinder. Now, suppose we were looking for something very beautiful to frame, and we think, oh my goodness, well, that would be done. But we think, oh, that is so gorgeous. Oh, but I have just a smaller frame, so maybe it's that. Or maybe we think, this is the profile we have. Oh, but what if that's not the best possible view? What if it's over here, or here, or here? So you just keep moving it around. Now, of course, depending on the size of your piece, these would be too short because you want, you know, this, you don't want that gap there. You want to be able to fully imagine it cropped and matted like that. Anyway, I did find them, so I wanted you to see them. Okay, so we have a couple of options here. I like the line work that I've done, but I also believe that if I had to reconstruct it, I could. So if I inadvertently cover some of the black markings, it won't be the end of the world. But I do want to introduce some of these colors. So and I did, you can thank me later, I did pre-shake. Sometimes you can peel the paint, and because acrylic paint is almost like plastic, you can peel it off, especially if it was particularly thick. You can peel it off a palette and, of course, glue these things down if you wanted to on, you know, someplace else. But let's just see what we can see in terms of colors. So this was the Burgundy Rose. Now it's going to be a bit misleading because, of course, you're not seeing it on a pure white. Maybe this one would be better. I guess pretend the blue isn't there. You'll get a better idea of, oh, that's thin, of the true color. I didn't, you know, there's, of course, we know that in acrylic paint, not this, of course, this is not artist quality, but in the good stuff, boy, those are very close. In the good stuff, there is different viscosities. So there is the heavy-bodied, and there is fluid acrylic. And you pick, so if you pick, for instance, phthalo blue-green, in both formulations, it's exactly the same color. It's just that they would go on the page or on the canvas differently. Something very satisfying about picking dried paint off the cover. This is that more metallic-y gold, glorious gold. This is Deco Art brand. And this is, what did I say? Medium yellow. Might be very close to the other. But of course, if I mix, if I were to mix the red and yellow, I would get shades of orange. So it's probably worthwhile putting it on there anyway. Is anything going to come out of here, though? This, I don't know about this one. Oh, that's that binder again. Toilet paper to the rescue. Yeah, so as I said before, I'm having so much fun with this. Now this may be another one of those where I have to stick my skewer in there. which is now dried. Oh, it's thick, yeah. No wonder it doesn't want to come out. You know, just like house paint separates if you've left it in a gallon or quart or whatever. Essentially, this is the same kind of scenario. Okay, let's see if we can get... Oh! Okay, if something like that happens, take your palette knife and put it back in the bottle. You know, waste not, want not. That is way too much. Okie dokie. Now, a couple of options, and I don't know. Too bad I don't have paper. I was going to say that I should, okay, I'll start with my little stippling brush again, or stencil brush. I don't want this to be so bold on here that it takes away from sort of the aesthetics that's going on. So I'm almost wondering, I'll just pick up a couple of these shades. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I'll go slow. And then something like the red might just end up being, I still haven't used this tiny, tangled, this tiny little maple leaf here. Again, we're still trying to cover up some of that green boo-boo. Ooh, that's nice. I'm glad that I did continue to look for the paint. I'd sort of, one time, a long time ago, sorted it by what is the most ancient, like in other words, from our shop. Do I dare pick up a tiny titch of red? Very light hand there. It doesn't look like much of anything there because, of course, it's on green and it's on that other color. But that's where the beauty of the little pen will come in handy. I should probably try to do this a little bit better, a little more blended. Oh, I've got this big blob here. Now we know that red and green are going to make, oh, look how that puddled together. That was the very thin one that I first put out there. And you kind of want to pounce off quite a bit of the, still probably have too much on my brush here. Sorry, I hope my hand, I always thought it was funny when YouTube people, artists, creators, makers, would be apologizing for their hands. And I'm thinking, well, no need. There wouldn't be a video if you weren't using your hands. So don't feel like you have to apologize for that. but I think you've seen enough of this stroke to be able to. It's kind of nice when it's sharper like that, at least in places. I think I have to. Look what I just did. Paper to the rescue. I think, oh yeah, even though I kind of like that stem, I think it might have to be sacrificed. If I didn't have a wavy, uneven surface here, maybe that paint wouldn't have quite dribbled that far. Maybe I should do a bigger leaf, although I kind of like that I did that partially. But, you know, it's like when you do masterboards or collage, you have to be willing to, oh, I picked up some gold this time. You have to be willing to say goodbye to some things. Red. Now, we have a maple tree in the yard. I can't remember the variety. Maybe Amur, is that one? A-M-U-R, or something similar to that. Planted a long time ago. But maples, that variety, or Alberta, I'm not sure. We don't get the red leaves like they do in Ontario and the Maritimes. Not so happy with that, but again, we know it's a starting place. Maybe we need to cover some of that one up. Pick up some gold. Again, I'm barely, see, I should have gotten rid of some of that paint. It's going on a bit thick. And I think I'll do another leaf somewhere without picking up any additional color. And then hopefully we might get something that looks more like that. I guess I could also switch leaf shapes too. Yeah, the acrylic paint does seem to cover the black ink fairly well. Let's work on that green edge there. I hear the combine going by. There was, like we have, our equipment is old. It's from the 80s. That's because we don't have, what is it, about $2 million. I know, you're surprised, right? We don't have $2 million, or is it 3? I'm kind of out of touch, to buy a new combine. Nor would we, in the winter of our years, even think of something that dumb. That's a multi-generational investment as far as I'm concerned. There has to be, you have to have the number of acres, and you have to have kids, grandkids, somebody willing to carry on in order to even think about going to a banker for some financing. Okay, that's not too bad. I think with the, and I think, you know, just considering that they are just have had no detail added to it. I think the pop of red, almost dipped again. I guess if I put these brushes on here, or no, let's just slide that, cover the brushes. It seems to be making a difference. Oh, maybe I need something over here. And I'll just basically come up to, hopefully you can see that, come up to the edge of this other one, because that guy didn't get any detail work. So we'll pretend this red one is behind it. Reddy orange. I can't have this guy be all by himself, so I better do another leaf that shape. And again, I don't know, like I've got those holes there. I'm not sure why I didn't take that into account when I was working there. Because obviously I won't be thinking, oh hey, I could do anything. My little blob of gold has essentially disappeared, but gold, I could always go back in with gold. Because, and I don't think I held that up for you to see, you know, at different angles. The metallic copper, I could do a little more intense. And I don't want them to be totally perfect, as though there was much chance of that happening. And again, with something, since I obviously, it's pretty hard to get down there, what I could do when the time comes is just use a lead pencil, just a, you know, sort of a graphite pencil, and make that, and do some outlining, but it's because it's so far down, so many layers down, I could probably get away with that. Got some yellow smeared there. Maybe I'll use, whoa, did I get paint on my, that's a miracle. Anyway, these videos that I'm doing, these 3 in a row, are going to presumably appear while I'm in Canmore at our timeshare. So that's another period that I have to cover. I don't know that I've used that really runny color. That was, I think, the burgundy rose that I squeezed out first, or that came gushing out first. That's a harsh line. Can I? That's probably that same thin paint, and that's why it... Now, I guess that also tells me that if I wanted to, I could take a fine, I didn't bring a liner brush here, but you know, those are the ones with the really long bristles and very few bristles that you can use for making very thin marks, like, you know, flower stems or whatever. I don't want to overdo it, but, well, tell you what I'll do, because I'm sure you don't need to see another hour of this. I mean, you don't need an hour-long video, because goodness knows this will be the second one of much the same content. So, pen. Let's just, now that I feel bad about that paint, that's going to be drying there. This is a poor little leaf here. So let me spend a bit of time on this one. So this was that maple leaf. Again, holding the pen pretty loosely. That's the little stem there. And again, if this is not exactly the way the stencil is, well, track me down and we'll talk about it. Almost dry. Okay, this is the one that had the thicker paint line there. And these little, I don't even, you probably can't see them, those little darker pigmented dots there. And if the line breaks up and disappears, that is A-okay too. Oh, is my pen going? I don't want to ruin a pen, especially a little favorite one like this. And you know, sometimes these veins have those additional little, even finer. So feel free to, you know, change up your veins. Oh, see how this did it as well? I wonder why that was happening. Where is that stencil? Maybe it was that thin paint. It probably gives me a possibility here. Adds a bit more of something. Oops, let's not forget this. Okay. I'll do these 2, possibly 3. But what about that paint? Okay. What do I say? Waste not, want not. Maybe the book page would be better. This is my glue book. So, a Rorschach ink blot thingamajigger. Mix it up a bit more. That looks more like it could turn into something. Again, this is, I mean, obviously I'm making the best of a bad situation here, but you can see why I was saying that about putting the minimum amount of paint on there, because of course, well, now I've put it back on the, because now of course, because you always have the option of adding more if you need it, if you run out, which is not a good thing if you're painting some kind of a big 24 by 32 masterpiece and you need that exact shade. What we do in a case like that, now I don't know what painters these days are doing, but back in the day when people still bought film and you got those canisters, especially, I think it was Fujifilm, that came in the sort of clear, well, opaque versus black canisters. We would scoop up any pre-mixed, like custom colors, and keep it in the little film canister. And that way, if you needed a touch somewhere on the painting, you had it at your disposal. Okay, I said I'd work a bit down here and then we'll turn off the camera. And I think I better clean up once and for all. And see, that already makes it, oh, that's a leaf. That's not a boo-boo. I'm running out of places to put things. That's a leaf. How could you have thought otherwise? What do you mean you thought it was where she dropped paint and it flew out? You surely do jest. This, I don't like this, but, you know, there are, like I said, a person can go in either with a Posca pen or a liner, a fine liner, and try to redeem it. This pen, and you know, the vein, the center part is not just a line. There's some breadth to it. So that's another way to. Now, you can see that my ink mark underneath there is showing, but it becomes one of those things where I guess the viewer decides, okay, what's on top and who's on first, what's on second. Oops, I was just cleaning the pen off of my sleeve. Was that? Yeah, but I covered it up. I was going to say, is that the leaf where I just did a very frayed edge, but of course that's now underneath there, so I'm not going to. That helps a bit. This is an unfortunate stem from here. Oh, I said I was stopping, didn't I? So I'll continue to work on that. Okay, guys, I'm stopping there. I am loving this. Now, because there are odd little splotches somewhere, I suppose the very last step when I get there would be to do some splattering. I don't do splattering nearly enough, and I like the look of it, so I don't know what the issue is, but maybe because I never think of it, or I hate to have to do all the tarping to protect my space. But I'm hoping that you can see the bits of copper, gold. The gold isn't quite as attractive, but again, a person could go in, and even if it made kind of a bit of a blob, just for some emphasis, that would be okay too. Okay, guys, thank you. We will see you in the next one. Bye.